Trisha here. I want to share an extra video with you about choosing a profitable book topic. In bonus one, there's more detail from my friend Wes, who's put together a tool called Power Tools for Authors, and that will help you find the most profitable topics and niches and categories on Amazon for publishing books to create passive income. Now, your book and the whole purpose of this course was to write an expert book. So the profit from the expert book will come from the more coaching sales that you make, the higher conversion that you have. However, if at any point in time you're interested in turning books into a passive income, you'll find the tool that he has and the information that he shares really helpful. I'm just going to give you an example because in the next video, I'm going to do a walkthrough of a topic that I'm going to create using the book outline, and you can watch over my shoulder. Okay, so the first thing is when you get Power Tools for Authors, there will be two Google Chrome extensions that you'll be adding to your toolbar. The one with the little chart and the one with the little man. We'll be clicking the little man. If you use the link below this video to access the tool, you'll get a huge discount, and it's a lifetime access, and I think it's around like $60 or $70 Wes has done it for. So he's done a great deal for you. I use it myself every single day. Okay, when I click that tool, it takes me directly to the Kindle store, and it shows me the top 100 sellers. Now, these top 100 books in Kindle are across all categories, not necessarily one particular category. A book category is what's listed on the left-hand side here. These are like subjects. If you went to a bookshop, these would be the categories books that be sold in. However, this top 100 is across all of those categories, and a lot of them will be fiction because a lot of them are people who, and there's a lot of love stories and things like that. But what we want to do is go over to books. We want to look at paperback because Kindle has a number of programs available for its customers. They have Kindle Unlimited, which is where a customer can access unlimited number of Kindle books, and they only pay for what they read. So sometimes the results in the payment section of Kindle books is not as accurate as as the printed books. So we're in the printed books. Potentially, I want to, let me just think on this for 5 seconds. Okay, my 5 seconds is up. Potentially, I want to write a book about book funnels. How would you sell a book, and what type of funnel would you use? So I'm going to look for a book on funnels. I'm looking for someone who also marketing makes funnels, and Russell Brunson is the first guy that comes to my mind. And here are a range of books on funnels. Fantastic. Okay. Now, I also want to know how profitable is this topic going to be? If I'm going to write a book about funnels, specifically book funnels, is it a topic that's worth spending my time? So the great thing about this tool that Wes has, it's very easy to get the information that you need very quickly. And what it's telling me here, in the printed book department, popularity for this keyword is very low. Potential to make money is very low, and competition is very low. So it's easier to get to number one, but that not many people are looking for it. And you can tell here by the results. The one-page marketing plan is the best-selling book in this category. They're making $12,000 a month. Let's have a look at Kindle. One-page marketing plan is making $15,000 a month. Let's look at audiobooks. Not saying any numbers there. So let's think of a book, Russell Brunson. And I want to know what Russell Brunson is doing. I want to know how much he's selling each week. And this is actually a good example because we put this on the sales page for the course. Russell Brunson, many of these authors are also publishing outside of Amazon. They're publishing in places like Barnes & Noble, but he will do a lot of his own direct selling through his website for free plus shipping. Okay. You can see at the moment he's making roughly 300 sales on .com Secrets. It's about 4,300 a month. Traffic Secrets, he's selling 160 books a month. Expert Secrets, 62 books. Expert Secrets, it must be a new version. He's selling 180 copies of that. So as we go through, you can sort of get a bit of an idea of which topics. Now it says here that this is a very popular keyword and there are a number of books performing well here. Well, the truth is that the keyword is Russell Brunson, so that's why it's popular. You can't actually copy that because I don't think he'd be very happy if you used his name on it on a book of your own. The revenue potential for books is very good and the competition is very good. So the way that you use this tool is really, really simple. You can either pick your topic or perhaps you've got an author in mind that's in your niche already, and that author is someone that you would like to understand what they're doing and how they are performing with their books. I'll just take a moment to pause the video while I find a result to share with you that we can use as creating this book outline together. Just give me one moment. So I decided on the topic of personal development. It's a very popular topic on Amazon. Let's just see the total data for this particular topic. All right, roughly 12,100 searches for the phrase personal development. I want to go over to the keyword tool to see what comes up. All right, it tells me that Atomic Habits is the number one selling book. Roughly per month, they're selling 35,000 copies as a paperback, and they're making $460,000 in revenue. As a Kindle, they are roughly selling 355 copies, and they're making $872,000 in revenue. As an audiobook, it doesn't show the result at the moment. Okay, so the next one is how to unfuck yourself, get out of your head and into your life. That one's doing pretty well. That's making 8,000. But let's see the monthly revenue, 37,000 data lead. That's Brene. Okay, this topic is a very popular keyword, and there are a number of books performing well here. This topic has high potential for earning revenue and income, but there's a lot of competition. So the next steps that I would take in order to determine whether or not I would go with this, I want to have a look at what sort of words are being used. So these are the top 5 words in the titles of the bestsellers. So personal development, yourself, and life. So you could use a combination of those words in your title if you wanted to. Let's have a look at keyword analysis. Now the keywords are personal development, and what it's doing is telling us of these keywords which ones are doing really well. So when you go into Wes's videos, he provides a range of videos for free at no charge. He will explain how all of this works. So I would be pretty confident to say that the topic of personal development is very good. I'm going to look at the next. So the first list that we looked at were the top 1 to 20, and then we're scrolling down to 20 to 40. I'll just export this list. Okay. So you've got the title, the book title here, the name of the author, the date of publication. You can see he's still killing it with his books. He's making over $1.2 million a month just from his one book. And you literally can go back and reverse engineer and study his book. So if there was someone in your space that was really brilliant and doing very well and they had an excellent book, then you could literally go back and study how they came up with their book. And you'll find the formula that I share in this course is exactly the formula that they use as well. So you can be confident. Just have a look at the books that are doing really well. Read the reviews and find out what's working good for that book and what's not working well. And let me give you an example. So let's say we go to Atomic Habits and we want to write a competitor book for this one. We're going to look at the worst reviews and see what he says, what people are saying. A lot of drivel, waste of time and money, simplistic, repetitive, 6th grade reading, classic content filled with diet noise. If you're capable of creating daily routine, this book will teach you nothing. I wish I would have gone with my gut. Dirty damage book cover. So some people are commenting on the quality of the print in the book, and other people complaining about the actual quality of the content. So you can take some of it with a grain of salt. Let's have a look at the 2-star. Superficial, lacks ideas, missing pages, lots of anecdotes. So I would read through this if I were you and you wanted to write a book that was a competitor to this book. I would read through the good and the bad. I'd take note of the bad points and go, okay, that's something I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to do in my own book. Make sure it's of real substance. And I talk about this in the videos when you're reading through. I talk about giving really good quality information, being really transparent. Don't add any filler or fluff. People don't care for it. And making sure that you're explaining the transformation and you're giving people the tools, the information they need to know in order to make the changes that they want in their life. And by doing that, you're providing great value and people would be more attracted to you and obviously see you as an expert in your niche. Now, on the opposite of the spectrum, the 5-star reviews, let's take a look at this. When you read the 5-star reviews, look out for points that people really enjoy about the book. Is there anything in there that you can keep in your mind when you're writing your book that you will think that this is something that's important, that people really enjoy? So here we have this person has written a very long review. I would say that they're perhaps being paid to do that. This person here has also written a very long review. I found the information in chapter 2 about behavior change to be spot on. You're given 2-step process. So people like the step process, 4 simple steps. They keep talking about steps. As you scroll through here, they talk about behavior change. So you'll start to see some patterns. If I was doing a book on this, I would copy paste all these words entirely, all the reviews here, and I would copy them just to a Word document. And then, I mean, this is just a bit of my OCD, really. So if you don't really care to do it, that's totally okay as well. No problems. And I would just read through and highlight some of the key points that you see that are repetitive. So one of the words were steps, simple, and system. And if you're seeing that quite a lot, then you need to make sure you obviously include that. And that's part of the framework of the book outline that we're talking about and the one that I'm going to help you write. So because this is way too much data to be copy pasting while I'm on a video, I'll come back to that one. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pause this video while I get the book outline ready, and I am going to walk you through what it would look like if I was writing a book the very first time and the sections that I would fill in so you have a better idea of how to do this. So just give me one moment. Okay. Here is the book outline. You'll be able to download this in the resources section. Please have a read through. There's some really important information. This is exactly what you need to write. Information part 1, the introduction. This is what the book is about. The part 2 is the journey. Part 3 is the solution. Part 4 is the results. So let's do this together. I'll do a quick one here. Now the book title, I don't normally decide on that until the end and once I've got my book written. But I'm going to say here personal development, overcoming anxiety in the workplace. TBD for work. This is where you would get someone else to write it. So I might ask one of someone who knows me really well or I've done work for, or perhaps they're a critic, a book critic, or perhaps there's someone that's an expert in the niche that I'm in that has read my book. So that person is Alice. This is the preface for the book. So this is where I tell the reader how and why the book came into beginning and what the book is about and what it's not about. It gives me the opportunity to introduce myself as the author and also position my credibility and expertise. Now, I am not a psychologist, and in this book, I am writing the book as where are we? Dr. John Smith as a psychologist. Okay, so I'm just going to ad lib, making up on the spot here as I go. Tools and and then you just put in some ideas here. So I'm writing why this book is and who I am. I am saying I'm a clinical psychologist. I specialize in workplace care um, for upper management and employees. I wrote this book to help you in your current situation in a job, so you don't feel isolated and alone when you're under a lot of stress. I encourage you to use the techniques and tips I share in this book. Anyway, I would have a lot more to write if I was actually a psychologist. I'm just adding lib at the moment because I want to show you what you can do. Introduction. This is a section you tell the reader why you wrote the book for them and what they can hope to gain from it. Okay, let me go back up here. This book is for you if you're looking for ways to manage stress and anxiety in the workplace. This book is not a replacement for professional help or to be used in lieu of obtaining the right help from your specialist. Right. Who you wrote the book for, why you wrote the book for them. I'll come back to and right at the very end. So what we're going to promise in this book is one, techniques to cope with stress at work, how to talk about your stress, how to manage stress at home, activities you can do to help you feel better. Asking for help without feeling embarrassed. Okay, who this book is for. So this is someone who's a corporate person. This is someone who's an employee. Perhaps this is really good for someone who's in a startup because that's pretty high pressure. I wouldn't go putting anyone suffering from anxiety. I think that's not really good because you're not really talking to anybody. That could be anyone. Everyone has a different cause of anxiety. You could write anxiety for new mothers. That would be a very good book. But this is anxiety in the workplace. Okay, so you just write your ideas down here. We come together. The introduction gives the reader an understanding of what the book is about, and this section is simply a summary. It's the promise of the book. It's what you're about to explain in the book. Now, if I am Dr. Smith and I'm writing my expert book to help um, people with a couple of techniques that they can apply at work, and my pure purpose is not necessarily to get more coaching clients, but it's to get more speaking opportunities because I really want to get on stage and I want to do corporate events. The approach to this book would be very, very simple. I would go through and I would explain a couple of case studies of working with organizations that I have in my history. I would talk about the types of programs that I've implemented, the ways that I've been able to help, and then I would go into talking about the methods that I use and the techniques and the types of training I would give to employees that they can take on themselves. So in America, I've worked for a lot of American organizations, and they have these events called town halls for very big companies. So my objective as Dr. Smith could be a speaker at the town halls or to be a TEDx speaker. So the entire purpose of my expert book is one thing: credibility and knowledge. I want to portray to the person who's going to book my services at the end, which is a large corporate company, I want to portray myself as the expert that they can trust and rely to deliver a service that's much needed by their employees. Now, my personal professional background is in the supply chain area, and I've worked with a lot of companies. I know they have so much money to spend, so someone like this, with this level of expertise, could quite easily be charging $250,000 per client to go in to do 3 to 4 presentations a year for a few hours at each presentation, and provide a small digital follow-up plan that they can send out to all the employees. Now that's some pretty easy money to make, but you need to be able to present yourself in a way that is appropriate. So that's how you do that with your book. So Dr. John Smith will come through, write this book, and talk about those different factors I mentioned before. But in the first section of the book, he's going to talk about the background and the story. How did he come to this? What was it, his knowledge? What was it? Is it something that he decided to do straight out of high school and go to university? Or did he do something different? So I'm going to make the story up. Let's just say Dr. Smith came out of high school, went to university and studied to become a nurse. And through that nurse training, he had a placement to do some time as a occupational corporate nurse for an organization. And what he discovered during that time was that a lot of people that came to see him in the clinic at the work office, um, they came in because of mental stress. So they were feeling sick. Their body was responding to this, but they were really suffering because of stress. So after a number of years of seeing this and treating people as they were coming and going, he decided to go back and specialize his study in clinical psychology, and he wanted to specifically target mental stress in the workplace and treating anxiety. And this is the story that John takes you on from the beginning, where he, left school, went to university, studied nursing, got a job in a corporate office, um, did this corporate type of nursing medical service, and then decided to specialize in clinical psychology. And through that, even though he was a little bit older by the time he got into his occupation, I'd say he'd probably be around 30 years old because he needed a little bit of experience after his nursing study. He became really attuned to the problems that employees and employers were facing, because everyone knows an organization that has a high turnover is usually attributed to 2 things. It's a really unhealthy workplace and people are feeling stressed, or if they're feeling undervalued. And those 2 things are probably the biggest challenges for most companies these days to overcome. So in this book, in the first section, he talks about his background and his history. In the second section, he talks about the solution that he came up with. So he may have two or three techniques. It might be like a tapping technique, it might be um, a breathing technique, a meditation technique. He might even have a guided meditation as part of his treatment plan that people can download and listen privately at their desk when they're starting to feel all worked up. And he talks them through this, and he talks them how to breathe and how to work through their anxiety. Whatever it is that his solution is, he's explained that to the people. Now, he's just spilled the beans and given away his secrets. But do you know what? People are still going to pay for him. Companies are still going to pay for him to come because now they know what he's doing. They have complete trust in the process. In the next part of his book, he's going to talk about the method and how he prepares people. So there'll probably be an incubation period before they start getting treatment or they start to, move into that phase of healing in the workplace. And he'll talk through that. You know, it might be opening up the conversation. In Australia, we have this special day called Are You OK Day. Maybe he uses that as a talking point. That's the starter of the conversations. Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? And then he goes into um, the techniques and having a town hall and having a presentation, going on TEDx, having this book that he has now, and he gives you 3 to 5 techniques in this book that you can try at home. So technique number 1, he might be suggesting a meditation that you can get off YouTube, and perhaps he's already recorded it and he's put it into the book or he's given you the link. Technique number 2 could be an exercise activity, how to get up off your chair, go for a walk, and do 5-star jumps or something. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. But I'm going through the process here. I want to show you and explain to you what it would be like to put together your book so you can provide really good value. But most important, give people something that they can take away and that can really transform their lives. So you go through that process and you're explaining to your reader what can they do for themselves? How can they help themselves using the methods that you employ in your business? The next step would be to share some case studies. So, going back to our example, Dr. Smith, John, he says, all right, I want to share with you 5 case studies of people that I've worked with. Now, these case studies, I picked them because they really show a great variety of problems that people face in the workplace. So, one, he might have a CEO. The second one, he might have a forklift driver, an operator from a warehouse. The third, he might have a receptionist. The fourth, he might have a senior executive. And the fifth, he might have a professional person from the organization. And he talks through each of those. Now, when he's talking through these case studies and he's explaining the before, the during, and the after process and what the outcome is, what he's doing is he's painting a picture for you as the reader, and he's allowing you the opportunity to identify with one of those characters. If he had the time to put 10 case studies in, even better, maybe he would talk about the impact through those case studies beyond the workplace. So that would be the impact of the worker that's being affected by this anxiety and stress. The second one is by the family, the immediate family. Maybe it's partner, children, and dogs, cats, the pets, the people in their immediate home space. And then there's the tertiary, extended family and friends, and how is it impacting you socially and mentally. Now, workplace mental stress is a major issue. I know I've experienced it myself, and if I found a book like this, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. But there's a lot of people out there who are not really willing to admit they're having these problems, but they need something to start with. They're not quite sure how to overcome it. And you're opening the door now to a whole big audience of people that need your help, and they're looking for you. They're looking for the answers. And by giving them this information, you're able to really make a positive difference in their lives. So when people are reading the case studies, they're looking for points in that case study that relate to them, that they can identify and say, hey, I'm just like Susie or George, that guy. That's my husband, man. He's so stressed out in his job. He doesn't like where he's working. And I feel like every day he's going to pop his head. I just don't know what we're going to do about it. You know, people are looking for that relationship. They want to feel like they can connect with you in your book. Your case study is the best place to do that. At the very end of the book, John completes his book and he's taken you on that journey. He's told you the starting point, how he started as a nurse, went back and trained, became this clinical psychologist specializing in anxiety and mental stress, workplace stress. He takes you through his journey for his top 5 tips where he recommends how you can deal with this in your own time, in your own space, in your privacy to improve the quality of your life. And then he shares with you 5 to 10 case studies about how these techniques have impacted and helped other people and what it's done for them beyond just their immediate circle. And the very last section, he talks about what you can do next to help yourself. Now, if you're an organization and you're looking for someone to come in and inspire your workforce, you should call me. I'm available for speaking. That's John. And these are my contact details. I do TEDx speakers, I do speeches, I do town halls for organizations. I can travel here. Here's my link, here's my website, or here's my LinkedIn contact. So that's how someone like that can really position such a fantastic book. Now, in the very beginning of the course, and even in the sales page, I mentioned that it doesn't need to be a super long book. The book doesn't need to be 100,000 words or 200,000 words, God forbid. Nobody has that much attention span, unless, of course, you're Stephen King and you're writing another thriller. People want to read as much information as necessary to get the story across. Please don't add extra nonsense and filler into your books. Give people exactly what they need to get the transformation. Give people a story that they can relate to and they can connect with you on a personal basis, and give them something to look forward to, a bit of hope, a better future, a better way of living because you've been able to help them. If you can achieve that in your book, you have done great things for humanity. And I would be absolutely delighted to support you in your book. All you need to do is send me an email, tell me what your book is, and I will buy it, I will read it, and I'll leave you a fabulous review. So think about your book like that. Getting back to the book outline. All I would need to do is complete this, go through section by section, and say, for example, nurse to corporate workplace, and then going back to study. So when we talk about key points 1, 2, and 3, I would just put a couple of prompts here, and then I would take the iPhone and I would record those prompts, and I would say, this is chapter 1, and I'm talking about becoming a nurse and then going to get a job in a corporate workplace. And then and then I would continue. The next section is going back to study clinical psychology. Literally just talking and talking out loud to yourself and recording it on your iPhone, and then going to rev.com to transcribe it. You'll get a huge amount of information download, and you can literally start to fill in this book outline and then go, okay, this section goes here, and you'll start to see everything come together really, really nicely. And it's as simple as that. Now, some people find the talking really hard because it's difficult to focus on the point, and that's totally okay. You might like to do a bit of both. In fact, I find writing easier than the talking part. Although I did talk for very much too long in this video, if I were you, try both. Try the rev.com for the transcription, and then just try bullet points and filling it in. But whatever you do, don't overthink it. Don't stress out. You can do this book really quickly. In fact, it's easy to get it done in a weekend. I don't want to put that pressure on you, but everything is here that you need to know. Exactly what to write. Just follow the prompts and customize it to suit your content and what your area of expertise is. I believe in you 100%. I know that you are here for the right reason and that your book will be excellent, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Okay, thank you for being so patient. I'll see you in the next video.